Welcome to Friday's devotions. Now, yesterday we finished our studies in the Lord's Prayer, and question 107 was the last question in the Catechism. So we finished our studies in the shorter Catechism as well. And really, rather than just us finishing there, I just want to think a wee bit today as we conclude, just a wee bit about the value of the Lord's Prayer and the value of the Catechism, because I think we can tie these things together. And in many ways, what we have in the Lord's Prayer, what we have in the Catechism is like a structure to guide us and direct us. The Lord's Prayer gives us a structure about how we should pray. Not that we keep saying the Lord's Prayer, but there's a pattern of prayer which is God-centered, which indeed should be our pattern of our praying. And in many ways, the Catechism does that. There's a God-centeredness in what the Catechism is seeking to get across to us. It begins with what's man's chief end is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. I think about the Catechism. Let me just say about three things about the Catechism which would encourage you to use this Catechism. Over the years, when I would have led outreach teams and for young people, I regularly would have said for them to bring their shorter catechism with them to the team. Three things the catechism does, which is important. First of all, the catechism gives us clarity on biblical truth. It helps us just to summarize and to get clear in our mind what the Bible teaches on important subjects. The sections on justification, sanctification, adoption, fantastic questions are. What faith is, what repentance are, tremendous answers there. It helps us to give clarity as to what the Bible teaches on important subjects. Also, the Catechism protects us. It's like a rule to show us where we're going wrong. Imagine you have a job of, let's say, cutting up pieces of string, and you have to cut them to 12 inches, a foot, 30 centimetres. And you maybe measure the first one and you cut it. But then you decide, I'm not going to bother measuring. And so you just guess and cut. And you'll find as you go on that you could maybe be getting further away, and when you measure it again, you see how close you are to being right or how far you are away. And so, in many ways, the shorter catechism is like a ruler to guide us as to what the right dimensions are, to guide us what is truth about life and about God. And you know, if we don't keep going back to something to keep us right, then indeed we can drift in our Christian lives. Robert Murray Mcshane, great preacher of the 1800s, talked about how his watch was always much more accurate when he walked around a town than when he walked in the countryside. Because it's the days of the wind-up watches, and in the town, when he would see a clock, he would check that his watch is right and adjust it where need be. And the Catechism helps us do that too. Adjust where maybe we've gone wrong a wee bit and just correct things a wee bit. Some people say, well, we've got the Bible. Surely that's all we need. Listen, the cults have the Bible also and go far astray. It helps to summarise what we believe on certain subjects. And in our Presbyterian Church, at times it has deviated from the truth. One of the great things that helped our church to be preserved and come back to the truth was our catechisms and our confession of faith. And the third thing about the shorter catechism is it's a bond of unity. When I studied for the ministry, some of the fellows in my class, I can think of, there's one fella who was from another part, from County Down, one fella from Belfast, one fella from County Antrim. We came from very different areas, and you know, we believed the same things in 99% of the time, maybe 99.99% of the time. We grew up under ministries which were of men who believed the confession of faith and the catechisms. And it meant that what we were taught, there was a common belief system. And when it came to looking at issues, we were on the same wavelength. we hadn't drifted. It had kept us. So can I encourage you, as we finish today, the Lord's Prayer, but more importantly, as we finish also the Catechism, think just the benefit. Don't, if you haven't got a catechism, download one, print it out, or send away and get a catechism, or speak to me and I'll get you one. Catechism is great value. Learn it, use it to indeed make it clear what the Bible teaches, to protect you from drifting, and as a bond of unity with those who likewise believe. God bless.